Hi there, my name is Saajida and I would like to welcome you to this video lecture on the literature review. So what exactly is the literature review? The literature review forms the theoretical underpinning of Chapter 2 of the proposal and the dissertation. It is a critical analysis of the secondary literature that pertains to your research problem. Secondary literature refers to information that has previously been published by other scholars. The purpose of the literature review is, first, to display your awareness of what is going on in the field. You need to convince the reader that you have read extensively in the field, that you are aware of the intellectual debates in the field and can relate them to your study. You should be using information from experts in the field. Secondly, to formulate the theory base for the research that you are conducting. A theory is a logical explanation for a phenomenon. Theory helps you build an argument for your own study. For any topic, there should be different theories, even conflicting ones. You should be able to discuss all of them as well as comment on the way in which they relate to your field. Thirdly, to provide a detailed context for your work. It must be clear to the reader how what you are proposing to do fits in with what has been done before. This is an illustration of the theoretical and practical significance of your study. After someone has read your literature review, it should be very clear to them why you are conducting the study. Finally, to prove that your work will lead to new knowledge, originality. Your literature review should illustrate that what you are doing in your research is actually new and original. It is not a duplication of something that has been done already. To show this, you have to make sure that your literature review is current and comprehensive. Where can you find sources for your literature review? Well, for every topic, there is an abundance of information that you can find. Ensure that the sources you select are scholarly. This may include, for example, academic books, articles, dissertations, and conference proceedings. Websites may be consulted. However, the website will need to be credible. Examples, Stats SA, the UN, and known research institutes. Wikipedia should not be used as it is not regarded as a credible source for academic research. The literature covered in the review should be current. This means that it should not be older than 5 years, except in the case of original authors or textbooks. Information is constantly changing, and it is important that you keep up with current trends. You will need to plan how you will structure your literature review and write from this plan. The funnel approach is one of the most popular ways of structuring the literature review. With the funnel approach, you begin with an overview of the broad conceptual research, the big picture. Gradually narrow the discussion to a more detailed description of the few studies that are directly related to your research. Your literature review must begin with an introduction. The introduction describes the scope as well as the structure of the literature review. The content of the chapter should be written as follows. As you read, group ideas, methods, and definitions into categories. There are no rules to the amount of categories or the amount of works per category. Place the categories into a logical order. The first category should contain the works that provide a theory base for your work. They should come first in the literature review. Each category should start with a general discussion and then funnel down to becoming more specific to your study. Pay attention to the introductory and concluding paragraphs of each category and subcategory so as to guide the reader seamlessly from one group of works to the next. The works discussed in each category should have a similar theme. Make sure you discuss the strengths and weaknesses as they pertain to each work. Conclude with a summary of the state of the literature in the field and identify gaps in the literature. You have to explain, in light of the discussion, how your study will be original and contributing to the field. After you have written your first draft, you have to evaluate what you have written. You start with the sections. Evaluate whether the introductory sentence and the concluding sentence of each section is properly integrated, talks to each other. Then, work through each paragraph and evaluate if it says what you wanted it to say. Evaluate whether it fits within the section and the preceding and following paragraphs. Do this with every paragraph in every section. If a section does not contribute to a paragraph theme, take it out or change it. The example below can be used as a guide on how to structure each paragraph. Finally, you can use the following criteria to assess your literature review. Is the review comprehensive? It should be exhaustive in its coverage of the main aspects of the study. Have you illustrated an in-depth understanding of the works in the field? Are the sources known and credible? Are the references recent? If the sources are older than 10 years, is there good reason for its use, such as being part of classical works on the topic? Are the sources selected to show only one point of view, or are many points of view reviewed? Is the review well organized? It should not only cover and summarize the information in the sources, it should give a critical evaluation of the works. It should also be well structured and logically organized. Are areas of controversy discussed? Does the review clearly indicate how the proposed study fits with existing scholarship and thus indicate its significance? Remember, don't give up. It takes time, and it should. It takes a couple of drafts to write a well-integrated piece of work. All the best with your literature review, and happy writing.